What's up, guys? Sub-Zeric here, back for another VOD review. Today, another Dishsoap VOD review. The former world champion, I guess current, I've said it before, like I say former world champion, and then people are like, well, technically he's the current world champion, but like, I mean, he hasn't won this set yet, because nobody's won this set yet, but I guess he's the current world champion. In any case, he is, let me move my head real quick, sitting at nicely about 1k LP right now, and just smurfing it up on the ladder. I feel like Dishsoap is playing really, really good TFT right now, and I feel like Dishsoap is someone who should be quite good at a patch like this, so it does not surprise me at all. First big decision of the game, actually, we can go back and check this out, because we get a Jinx drop here, plus this Nunu, and we opt to sell the Jinx and the Nunu here, and hold on to the Seraphine, interestingly enough, actually, over even Namzi pair here. That's wild to me, but maybe his thought is that Seraphine actually pairs well with this Lilia that we have right now. It's actually more likely that we'll play Seraphine plus Lilia over the Namzi, which is just wild. Also, I feel like Twitch used to allow me to, okay, now I can use spacebar to pause and play. Okay, thank you, Twitch.television. I feel like Dishsoap should be someone who's very, very good at current patch, because it's a patch that you can play very flexibly, very widely. There are a lot of different comps that are viable, and Dishsoap tends to be very good at picking, what line to play, flexing between different options when applicable, and things such as that. Speaking of flexibility, we need to be really flexible in what augment we take here, because all of these suck, I'm pretty sure. I mean, Zap Attack is like kind of good. We just don't have any blitzes, I believe, and a good start for it. Category 5 with a bow open is not too bad here. You have a Nunu as well, so you could think about playing like a Kog'Maw Category 5 setup. We did actually sell that Jinx earlier, which would have been crazy with Category 5, but I think making 10 was the correct idea. The other option is just to take combat bandages here. It's not a great starting option. We reroll into it and actually hit a high voltage. Okay, I'm down for a high voltage here. I don't really love Scapegoat, but I think some good players actually don't completely hate Scapegoat, which is interesting. But okay, the high voltage take here I think is very solid, and then we can lean towards playing AP here. Ooh, and we get a 3 cost out of our charm there, which is really nice. Now we actually have a unit to hold on to this high voltage. Have to imagine that we're just gonna make 20 gold here. We could just play double Aries for now, and maybe there's a world where we play around Ahri. We do have like a Wukong. I don't know if people are really interested in Ahri Wukong as an option. I don't think so. I think Dishsoap, I was watching him earlier and he was talking about how he prefers the Bastion Ahri, he called it, version, which is more like the 1-cost reroll version of the comp rather than Vanguards. So, we'll see what Dishsoap wants to play this game. But we have a Chain Vest, a Spark, and a Bow here. We have to play something AP for sure. But, like outside of that, we can kind of do whatever. We can also, okay, this is actually another, talking about like decision points and spots like this. This is a big decision here to actually level here and play this Jax and play strongest board here. You still get to make 20, which is the big thing. We could have made 30, but we would have to sell some of the stuff that we're like a little bit interested in. Looks like he is still holding onto this Galio for the potential for a Vanguards type game, like if we high roll Vanguards, maybe we play Ahri Vanguards from this spot. I actually made a promise to myself in my head. I was like, I'll just pronounce all the champion names correctly for one video, and okay, that's already one champion pronounced incorrectly, but I swear, okay, so that's Galio. I'll pronounce every champion name correctly for this video, and you guys have to like the video. You guys are contractually obligated if I can do that for the rest of the video, because like it's a lot of work, honestly. Interesting decision point here as well. You could just make 30. We're on a 2 streak, so I doubt we're gonna make 30, so we're just gonna play strongest board here. I guess you could look at maybe selling Wukong here would be the only way to actually make gold, but Wukong's actually doing a lot for us in this opener. Yeah, this is actually quite awkward, because yeah, like the other thing that you could do, sell Wukong, sell Galio, buy Shyvana, and just play at least Shyvana, but then our front line gets a billion times worse, so we'll see. Yeah, okay, so it's just gonna be the pre-level. I think this makes the most sense. No real way to make 30 gold in this situation, satisfyingly. So yeah, we will play the Shyvana, play the Wukong, and hold on to the Galio still. And maybe even if we win this fight in Elise pair, though, the board we're fighting, Wukong spin, I think we got it. Nice. I mean, so far, I would say this looks like an Ahri game, but we're also scouting the lobby and seeing there are a lot of Ahris out. And Ahri, obviously a very popular comp. That person may be angling towards Ahri because they have the Vanguards and the Mogul's Mail, so a little bit scary. We have Bow and Chain open here. Certainly a Gargoyle onto the Wukong wouldn't be bad here. If you want to take a Bow item, yeah, I mean, there's not much to take here, so I think we do just take the Gargoyle for the Wukong here. And yeah, I mean, if we wanted to play around Wukong, I mean, it would be a little bit chill. Ooh, okay. Dishsoap does go for the upgrade tech here, where I like this a lot, actually. We don't really care about any of our one cost here. This could reforge into such good stuff. Imagine this is like a Rumble 2 or something. Our game is set here. It does end up hitting a Neela 2, which, I mean, she has a 2-star unit on the board, so you don't hate it. It doesn't do that much for the board, but yeah, and we'll just play 2 Shapeshifter here on our level 5 because we don't have much else to play. I mean, it's so funny. This is like almost a built diff level board. Like we're playing Ari with no synergies. Wukong obviously never has synergies. We're playing Neela with no synergies. But hey, we're on a 4th streak, and this is good TFT from Dishsoap, just saying, I'm going to play upgraded units. I'm going to play strongest board every round and be happy with that. Also just realized my head wasn't like completely aligned over there, so I moved it. But hey, all good. I got there, and I'm going to do this again so that I can hit the space bar. I honestly should just BLC download all these videos, but it's too much work. What doesn't kill you player playing around Kog'Maw. This person also maybe Kog'Maw. There was another person with our same zap attack augment. No, zap attack is the other one. What is this one called? Zap of Ionic Spark, something like that. I don't know. We took it earlier. High voltage. That's what it's called, right? Anyway, 5 streak here looks really, really good for Dishsoap. I mean, it's a fantastic opener, but really, it's kind of funny. We've just played around this Wukong as solid frontline. We've played around Ari as just like a decent backline. The Zoe actually fills out the board beautifully here because it gives us Scholar and Witchcraft, and then we can look at, you know, maybe leveling up or something, and boom, Dishsoap already. Okay, so now we can start talking about like late game board. This is what Dishsoap wants to play towards, which is this Arcana Ryze setup that I think a lot of people have been more interested in recently. When you don't have Portal +1 and you want to play towards Ryze, which makes a lot of sense. We are playing default AP, which tends to be more Ryze focused. You can do something like this where you just play around Ryze. As many Arcana units, you just fit in all the Arcana units you can. You play Ryze Taric, and then +1 from Portal can be like Nora. Can also be this can be like Galio earlier, and then you can fit in like another mage here if you don't end up hitting like Xerath. I've seen. So yeah, this is the version that Dishsoap wants to play for. He also knows that he's gonna be very rich this game, and this is a pretty expensive comp, so you actually feel pretty decent playing it from this spot. He does actually do this before he gets all his items, and now our items are a little interesting. Wow, you could actually, I wonder if Dishsoap ever considers a pivot here. The only issue is we have high voltage, which isn't great, but we do now have a Kalista with a Guinsoo if we wanted to. You could go like Kalista with Guinsoo. You would have to make like TG probably for like a Fiora, and then your cloak would end up somewhere else. But I don't know. You could certainly actually consider this to be a Kalista game with this Guinsoo open here. I'm interested. You could also even just flex both options. He's definitely going to make the TG, and he is going to make the Guinsoo. So yeah, I like this. You can make the Guinsoo and then flex both options, right? If we continue to high roll for this setup with the TG and the Guinsoo, then we can just play towards Kalista. Like if we natural one more Kalista, then I'm pretty happy to just play it from this spot. But also, if we end up hitting on the Ryze board, like our augment allows us to cap a bit higher for playing Ryze, because obviously the Ionic Spark is going to be a lot higher value when playing with Ryze rather than just like throwing that onto like a Nass or something. But ooh, okay, he's even gonna go as far to say I would prefer to make the gold here. All right. Prismatic Ticket, Spellcaster Toolbox. I don't think either of these are amazing. I think Support Golem is so broken that you just default towards taking it in spots like this unless you get something incredible. We don't really need more items. We're pretty happy with our items at this point, honestly, I would say. So yeah, I feel like it's just Support Golem. Looks like he's looking at the option of taking the AP items. But I mean, like Mana Zane Zanya's, yeah, I think it's just Support Golem here. And wow, we get a pretty decent one. The AP and the armor and MR is really, really nice for our entire team. So yeah, that's a great Golem for us. Very happy with this. But yeah, it's interesting. Dishsoap decided that he's just gonna hard force Ryze and this Arcana Ryze comp from this spot. I mean, I think his spot certainly looks really good. There's a few sort of schools of thought about like forcing comp and how that relates to your econ. Sometimes the idea is that you have so little econ that you can't really flex because you don't have the opportunity to hold a bunch of units on your bench. But then it also kind of sometimes wraps around the other way, where because Dishsoap has so much econ this game, because he's 100 streaking in this spot here, and we are in this this portal that's going to give us a lot more econ, you could also say, I'm kind of guaranteed to find a Ryze on my roll down, so why do I need to really play flex if I'm kind of guaranteed to hit? So like maybe flex makes the most sense when you're in that kind of like in between, where you're not like giga rich, but you're not like giga poor. I mean, maybe it's an idea for sure. It also looks like Ryze is medium contested. There's definitely someone with a Portal +1, so they're playing towards it. We just have the cloak open here, so we could go for a double gargoyle if we wanted, even adaptive, or just hold on to the tier actually for something else maybe a redemption or something. I mean, adaptive is a great item. So in this spot here, we're playing for streak. I imagine that we're going to slam this, but we'll see. Maybe we opt to not slam it. We are certainly just waiting until a 4-1 or a 4-2 to roll down. If we keep our streak easily 4-1, and okay, yeah, he's not going to make the adaptive here because he is really interested in actually getting 2 Ryze items here. I mean, I think it makes sense, right? Adaptive Gwinsu is like a pretty bad setup for Ryze. Your Ryze is going to do 0 damage, and if you make another defensive item here, because that's essentially what adaptive would be, then you actually have very low odds of finding Ryze items. So I kind of like this, yeah, just hold, especially because looking at that fight, there was no way that we were going to win that fight. I mean, just looking at our board, it was very, very tough for us to win that fight. So I think this makes sense. Now, after losing that fight, he's actually looking at just selling the Wukong here. I don't know. Wukong was doing a lot of work in these earlier fights, so I would be down to keep him. I would also not even be interested in holding onto this stuff like the Mordekaiser. I don't see how that's going to end up on our board, but hey, maybe there's a cool flex option here where obviously it's Vanguard with the Galio. So, you know, maybe I think I have also pronounced every champion name correctly so far. So I don't know. I think I'm winning on this bet so far. There's a Nico 2-star. If we won it, I wonder if you even make this because it's coming off of our board. We're probably 4-1ing it. Actually, let's go back and look at this scout around. So yeah, this person, very, I guess they're Ryze. Because I mean, you'd love to play like Ari from their spot with like the blue buff and stuff like that, but they just can't. I guess they're playing Ryze, so that means Ryze contested there. That second person also was maybe playing Ryze. There's also the portal person playing Ryze. There's a lot of Ryzes out, so I can very easily see this. Yeah, I like this a lot. We are just starting to pre-fit our board. We say we don't care about the Nico. We're gonna pre-level, and we're just gonna send it at 4-1 because we're pretty rich, and we are very afraid of this entire lobby holding Ryzes from us because he's a contested unit. So I think this makes a lot of sense. Just sell everything we don't care about. You notice we're not holding the extra portal units because we don't really care about that flexibility. We even find a Fiora 2 on the roll down, but we're not going to hold the Fiora 2. That is smart. I just want to talk about this a little bit, and we can actually bring it down to 1x speed for the rest of the roll down. But like not playing 2 flex, he knows he doesn't actually care to put a Fiora onto his board here. I think this makes a lot of sense. There's the Taric. He has this much gold. Boom. There's a Nami 2. Really just need to find 1 Ryze because I mean, you could. I don't know if we really want to Gwinsu the Nami here. We can still make a lot of our board. We can get the portal onto the board. But honestly, a pretty low roll down, right? We found Nami too, but not even Ryze. But I think this is an interesting point. Okay, and we also do opt to now make the adaptive helm because we have another tier. We have this this belt, so it's probably gonna be like Morello's Archangels, I would have to imagine, our final item. So we need a lot of rods in this situation. But yeah, I like the flex, but not too flex in this spot from Dishsoap. Okay, Portal Crest is interesting. The only problem with Portal Crest is we don't have the Jaces and things like that you want with this. So I think you actually can't really consider Portal Crest that much, even though normally, like if we got this 2-1, we could have just played for Vertical Portal this game. Vertically Inclined Clockwork Accelerator are just kind of mediocre augments, so I don't think we're leaning towards those. I mean, I think you can hold Portal Crest as your like backup plan. Capricious is okay. Magic Wand looks really nice because we can get either that Archangel or that Morello made. Spellblade is really good as well. I wonder if it is still Magic Wand though, just because you really need rod items. You need rods. Like rods are really high priority for you to get right now. Even though Spellblades is a broken augment, I wonder if it's ever. I wouldn't be that shocked if it was Spellblades. I think I would actually lead Magic Wand here though. And yeah, he does go for the Magic Wand. I think this makes perfect sense. We need AP items in this situation here. That guy's already got a Ryze. That guy's already got a few Ryzes. Yeah, there's a decent number out of the pool here. So Dishsoap actually has to make the value judgment here of, do I continue rolling in this spot? Because we have this Vex too. Also notice, yeah, we slammed the Gwinsu onto Zoe here. He made the judgment that Gwinsu's just not going to do anything on this Nami. I wondered now that we make this Morello on the Nami if we're ever regretting that, because now like it's kind of awkward having the Morello and the Gwinsu split up. Drop down to 30 H, or well, we're 30 econ here, but we take a decent loss down to 67 HP. But yeah, ooh, there's a Camille. Okay, and yeah, after that loss, Dishsoap's like, okay, I do kind of need to find 1 Ryze. And honestly, 1 Ryze will spike my board so hard that, yeah, honestly, just roll until we find that. We also find the Thomas Kench here, which is a nice pickup here. Take the Component Anvil here, because this might actually be a solid damage item potentially for Ryze. He is going to move the Adaptive Helm to backline here, and then just look at double Adaptive Helm, actually, yeah. I think he would have liked to take something like maybe an Archangels for Ryze, but the double Adaptive Helm, I mean, it's a Nami item. It's not bad. It's just 2 items is a little bit awkward, but hey, at least we have a lot of items, so it's not so bad. And yeah, there's also interesting that he put the Ionic Spark on a backliner just because he knows it's going to spread very well with the high voltage, so it doesn't matter that much. Another rod here would not be bad, I would have to imagine. I guess you could take a tier here. He's going to go for Belt. I wonder what Belt is for. I guess maybe he thinks he's got enough damage items at this point. I would really like to get to like a third damage item here. There's Tahm Kench 2, oof, and a Ryze 2 if we're going to use the duplicator here. And yeah, we are going to use the duplicator here. And ooh, this is an interesting call as well. We're going to sell our Taric here and actually move items to the Tahm Kench. I mean, I know a lot of people are very low on Tahm Kench as a main tank, but it is a 2-star. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, he tanks a lot. It's not like he got multiple casts off there, but he did tank a lot for the start of that fight. So maybe there's something to this. I mean, he just wants his item on 2-star unit, which, you know, is very good TFT. Put your items on 2-star unit and you will generally do quite well. But yeah, I mean, this is like a pretty standard version of this board. On level 8, we're playing the +1 mage in the Vex, and then everything else is either a portal unit, a mage, or an Arcana unit. So yeah, you just fit in 3 portal. The +1 with Galio is fine, though eventually you can potentially cut some stuff. I mean, if you get Nora, I'm curious to see what he wants to do with this setup, because I feel like you end up cutting the Vex for Nora, but then you end up with 4 portal, which is kind of weird. I guess eventually, like late game, you can cut the Galio, but I don't know what you're even cutting. I mean, I guess you can cut him for anything at that point. Like, you don't really need Vanguard that much on your board. So I guess the idea is Nora in over the Vex, and then eventually Galio is going to come out for like a Xerath. And I don't even know what level 9 is, because at that point you'd be 4 Arcana, you'd be everything. So many items this game. That's a full item anvil. Usually I like popping the full item first. We have Heal Cut already. This, I would imagine, is like a Protector's Vow. Ryze item here. Is it ever Jeweled Gauntlet? Interestingly, like, I don't really love this Jeweled Gauntlet item, and it's not a great item on Ryze, but you kind of need damage, right? Nashers, this Ryze can do 0 damage. You need some damage item on him. So maybe a JG. I mean, I could certainly see it. You could even, I mean, you have 2 Reforgers if you want to Reforge stuff, but it's quite risky to reforge. Okay, so yeah, we go for the JG here, and then we pop this next anvil here. We have Tier open, we have MR Shred, and we have Heal Cut here, so we don't need to go for either of those. We have, is it just Vow Nashers? I like Vow Nashers here a lot. And then just Nashers onto the Nami, and then JG onto the Ryze. This looks great. Yeah, I love these items here. This looks perfect. And yeah, ooh, can Tahm Kench get to a second cast here? He did actually get to a second cast here with all these tank items, the Vow and the Gargoyle. So hats off to Tahm Kench here. At this point, we are just looking at pushing 9 here. Our comp cap's at very, very high. There's a decent amount of AD in our pool there, so it looked like picking up the Armor Charm is good. We do want to pick up a Charm every round. Even though we're 67 HP, we want to preserve our HP as much as possible, and our board is not strong enough that I think we can really like skip Charms unless we like look in our pool and it's like the weakest people of all time. Like, actually, this guy's board doesn't look that insane. They're stuck on 1-star Ryze. They're stuck on just 1-star like everything on their board here, so unfortunate for them that they didn't have the econ to hit, and they didn't have like the duplicator that we had in our spot that allowed us to find Ryze 2 and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I assume we're just gonna look for a Charm every round. This is so expensive, but we are gonna take it. I mean, it is +1 Arcana, which is not bad. Also note that we're Arcanaing the Thomas Kench here. I mean, I think it makes sense, right? We don't have the Xerath yet. The AP from Ari is gonna be pretty negligible because we have no 3-stars. The AD from Hecarim isn't big. Obviously, the DR is pretty good, but you know, with 6 traits in, the HP from Tahm Kench doesn't seem bad. I call him Thomas Kench, but I'm not gonna count that as mispronouncing a name because it's not a mispronunciation. It's just like a name of affection, you know. Like, if you call your friend a nickname, you're not like mispronouncing their name. You're calling them a nickname. Top 4 secured already for Mr. Dishsoap here. Ooh, so someone else in the lobby has the portal +1, right? So Dishsoap opts to take this here. I didn't see if they could actually make it to level 10 if they had like a new recruit or something like that, but I think Dishsoap takes it just to be better safe than sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at the lobby again. Enhance here to look for a 2-star, and ooh, we get a 2-star Morgana that is actually just going to sit on the board, and she doesn't actually do anything, right? Like, she's not a trait for this board, and I don't know that she's gonna be. I think she's just gonna be a 2-star 5 cost that sits on the board. I mean, this game, moral of the story of this game is just the power of 2-star units, even if they're synergy lists. You know, we played those 2-star units so much earlier. Yeah, let's go back and look at that 8 portal player to see how, if they're okay. So it's Milk. He's level 9. I don't see a way for him to fit in an extra unit, so I think it's fine. Like, I don't see how he would get to 10 portal. I don't know, maybe there's Fawn Carousel down the line or something. But I mean, yeah, I guess this is fine. Like, it's it guarantees that there's no way he can win out the lobby. And I think Dishsoap is certainly thinking about himself potentially winning out the lobby in this position because we're so strong. We're level 9, and we're really just looking for those upgrades, trying to find the Noras, trying to find the Zeraths here. Fight a Jinx board with no Jinx 3, but a very, very tanky Wukong. Nice thing, though, is Ryze can snipe backline in fights like this, and so I think we're going to get there. Yeah, just barely beat out Toronto Tokyo there. This other player ends up going down. This is Crab Rave, right? Yeah, this is Crab Rave, so we need to try to beat the Crab here. Our board seems uniquely terrible at beating this Crab here. Dishsoap is going to try to greed as much Randuin's value as possible here to get through this Crab, but our board has like basically no healing. I don't see how we would actually ever beat this Crab here. Hopefully we can at least get as much loot as possible from it. And oh, okay, we do get an item, which is not bad here, but yeah, certainly looks like we're going to lose to it. Maybe Toronto Tokyo can win just because of the power of the Wukong, and no, he absolutely cannot. There's just not enough damage there. We picked this up, I guess, for the remover. I'm not really sure where it's... Oh, no. I think we just picked it up for a Poppy. Oh, my God. Yeah, we're just going to play a Poppy 3 on our board. I don't think I've ever seen this, but we actually just picked this up and threw a Poppy 3 onto our board. He's looking at double Spark here. Just throw that onto the Morgana. We also didn't pick up the Taric 2 here, I think just because... So we cut... Oh, okay, so the idea is... we can actually play Witchcraft by using Poppy, and then we don't have to play the Taric anymore. I mean, that's kind of hilarious. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. There's finally the Zerath, so now we're going to get this in, and the Nora that we can fit in, like we talked about. And yeah, now here's the 4 portal setup, where interesting that he doesn't want to play the Poppy over the Galio here. I mean, it's still 3 Mage. He didn't... He's not playing... He's playing Galio. He's playing the Nora. Okay, so he's just Galio plus Nora plus Nami. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. He just doesn't have the +1. He does still have a +1 portal here. Okay, I mean, the board looks pretty good, I will say. He's just rolling for Combat Charm. Just takes the 5 cost odds here, actually, knowing that we're 43 HP, so it doesn't matter too much. And Milk's board is pretty capped, so we might need to find some more upgrades to beat him. But I mean, look at it. This is like the very, very capped version of the board with a random Morgana too on it, just doing some work. But you know, it makes a lot of sense. You play a lot of Arcana. Arcana gets stronger as the game goes on because you're picking up more charms for the Zerath here. Crown Guard here looks solid for just another Morgana item. Yeah, looks good. And yeah, it's kind of awkward that we're playing we're just playing 4 Mage because of the fact that, or 4 Portal because we have the Portal +1. That's what's tripping me up, right? We have Portal +1 here, so we are just playing Ryze plus Nora plus the Galio here. So, okay, makes perfect sense. Like I talked about, the Vex ends up coming out, we get the Nora in, and then we get the Zerath down onto the board on level up. So, I mean, yeah, this board looks great, and with a random Morgana on it as our level 9, and it looks like it's just going to clean up Milk. Yeah, an easy dub from Dishsoap playing a really, really strong capped AP board that I think everybody should know and everyone should be playing towards this patch if they want to play AP. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. Check my Twitch channel by the links down below. Thank you guys for watching.